What's your name, honey?
I'm Joe. I teach middle school band. Got it, go for it! Today started out as the best day of my life.
Back here tonight, first show's at 7.
Must have been sudden for you.
What? Oh my goodness, oh my goodness! Help! I'm not done! Oh my goodness!
Pixar's Soul. Now this was a movie I was so excited for the entire year. The concept seemed so outlandish and ridiculous. It seemed like something that Pixar hadn't done in such a long time. Not since like Up, which coincidentally, this movie's directed by the same guy who made Up, Pete Docter. I'll put a picture of him on screen. He's awesome. But when I started watching the movie, I was immediately in that hype and that like, oh my god, a new Pixar movie, the one that I've been really excited for. And while it was a great movie, it didn't live up to all the hype that I had. If that made sense. But then again, I was very excited for it, like probably more excited than I should have been. And this movie's still amazing, and I still really want to talk about it more in depth at a later date. But just for today, we're gonna have a very low-key, just my spoilery thoughts of it. So this is your spoiler warning. If you haven't seen Pixar's Soul, this is your spoiler warning. Don't watch this video. So the first thing I want to talk about is I love the fact that the movie just focuses on this love of music and just this love of life in general, and how through the love of music or just the love of living and finding these small happy things you can enjoy, that's how you can learn to love your life. Because when they go back, most people when they saw the trailer, they were like, oh, it's just going to be blue people for the whole movie. It's not that at all. Basically, Jamie Foxx, who plays Joe Gardner, meets Tina Fey, who plays 22, who's this person from this soul from the Great Beyond, or the Great Before, I'm so sorry, from the Great Before. And 22 doesn't want to live on Earth, doesn't want to take part in Earth, has had so many people who have died try to help her take part in living and being on Earth, and she just doesn't want it. But through a turn of events, yada yada yada, her and Joe end up on Earth, except Joe's in a cat, and 22 is in Joe's body. And so it's this body-snatching storyline that initially when it happened, I was like, okay, this has been done, we've seen this before, I mean, it's fine, but in this case, it services the story really, really well. Because 22 is seeing everything from Joe's perspective. Because Joe's a person who's had a lot of hardships, a lot of failure in his life, and he's just now starting to reach his goals. So 22 is seeing everybody's reaction to Joe reaching his goal of being able to perform with this famous band. And also, quick side note, the Jerrys and Terry are the funniest characters in the movie, and they're perfect comedy relief, and they're not overused at all, and I love them. I would watch a Pixar short film with them. They were hilarious. But back to review. Back to review, HC Music Stand. Stay focused, stay on topic. So there's this really touching scene in the movie where Joe, as a cat, is telling 22, who's in Joe's body, what to say to his mom. And telling him, like, I just wanted you to believe in me, like, these are my goals, and even if I fail, I still want to try and reach for them. And it's this really touching scene because we see his mom break down and realize that no matter what happens, she wants her son to succeed. And she brings out, like, Joe's dad's, like, performance attire and gives it to him, and it's this really touching scene, except for the fact that, you know, Joe isn't actually in his body. And eventually the movie leads to the typical argument, two characters split up, but again, it services the story. This movie is so subtle in its themes, and so, like, I don't know what the word is. It's just amazing. This movie's amazing. Again, these are my, like, just spoilery thoughts. So just deal with it. Just deal with my spoilery thoughts. There's no structure to this video. But by the end of the movie, Joe has convinced 22 to go live life on Earth. And it's this beautiful, touching scene where 22 is scared and he's like, I'll go with you. I'll jump with you. Because it's like this portal thing where they jump down to Earth. And as Joe is about to go on and face the great beyond, or he's about to, like, go to... He's gonna die, basically. One of the Jerrys comes up, and the Jerrys are like the people who teach the freaking... They teach the souls in the great before how to, like, live life. Basically, one of the Jerrys comes in and says, it's not often that we're inspired, but today you inspired us. So we want to give you another chance. Go back, live your life on Earth. And for a brief moment, I thought Joe was gonna say no. Be like, I lived my life. I helped somebody else learn how to love their life. But in the end, he does go, and it's like, okay, happy ending is happy ending. But I think my favorite part about this movie is that the music wasn't the focus. The music was just an entryway into showing that even if you're not happy with what you're doing, even if you're not happy with your job, you can be happy with the people that you're with. If you're not happy in what you're doing with your life, the people who are with you can make you happy. And that's the most important thing. Just making sure that you're surrounding yourself with people who love you and want the best for you. Now, obviously, that doesn't mean don't take a good job. Like, obviously, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't go out and take a good job if it comes your way. It means that it doesn't hurt to go after your dreams. And that through going after your own dreams, you can positively affect the people around you and the people who support you. And obviously I do have some issues with this movie, which I'm going to get into. I will get into it. For starters, I do think that the body snatching thing, while it does service the story, it is a little bit annoying. Like, it's kind of like, really, Pixar? Kind of expected more from you. The score is not great with the exception of the jazz. John Baptiste, who writes the music on the Stephen Colbert Show, the late night show, does a phenomenal job with all the jazz music, but the soundtrack for the movie itself is not great. Other than that, I don't really have any issues with this movie. I mean, it is the Pixar movie I've been wanting since Up. This movie is phenomenal. And I think that just it speaks to where Pixar is at right now, where they're taking risks with more original ideas. I mean, Onward, which came out earlier this year, while it wasn't a perfect film, the story was amazing and the characters were amazing. It was entirely a Pixar film. And this studio, which has had some obvious flops, like Cars 2, also Cars 2, and I guess The Good Dinosaur, fine. But I forgot The Good Dinosaur exists, okay? Cut me some slack. But they have this ability to just create such magic and heart in their films that you can't resist it. You have to go see them. Almost every one of the best Pixar movies, think Up, think WALL-E, think this movie, think The Incredibles, Ratatouille, they are so different. They are so completely different. But they all evoke that same sense of emotion of, this is a Pixar movie. This movie will stay with me for the rest of my life. I can watch this movie as a kid. I watched Up when I was 9 years old, and I loved it as a kid. And now I watch it 10 years later, 11 years later, however many years later, and every time I do, I have a new appreciation of it because of the stuff that the filmmakers include in it, the deep layers of heart and intelligence. And God, is it obvious that I really like Pixar, guys? It's obvious that I really like Pixar, right? These movies are so special to so many people, and I think it's just a testament to their longevity that they can create these special stories. All the way back to Toy Story 1, and now we're here at Soul. And for the past couple of years, I've been kind of worried about where Pixar's going. I didn't like The Incredibles 2. I didn't like Finding Dory. And now I just can't wait for them to create more original stories. They're coming out with a TV show, which should be awesome. Pixar is gonna have a feature-length TV show, and I'm so excited for that. But I just can't wait for the future of Pixar. That's really it. I mean, every one of these movies is so special. Even the worst ones have something you can enjoy. Cars 2, with all of its faults, is still a beautifully animated, well-acted film. This studio is so special in what they're able to do and how they're able to change people's lives through just the power of music and storytelling. And I think that's really beautiful, don't you think?
You have a gift.
Your only limit is your soul.
This is amazing! Look, I'm a beautiful butterfly!
What's wrong, Mika?
Nothing, Mama. Nothing at all.
Love you, Dad.
I love you too, son.